The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, UNU Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and the nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Who I am is fine with me.
User joined your channel. Coming in, you know what that means. It's Tuesday night, and it's What's the Story with Maria. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to our show. We're so glad you're here. Tonight is April 30th, 2019. We are broadcasting live from NYC, the center of the universe. Our friend Brian Ristel has joined us. Hi Ryan, how are you, honey? He's out in Colorado. And we want to remind you, Ed Kutu has joined us. Sherry Miracle. Sherry Miracle is with the Diva Jazz Orchestra. Sherry, please, we got to get together. I want to get Sherry on the show so badly. She is the band leader for an 18-piece all-girl band. It's incredible.
Wow,
yeah,
that's inspiring.
It's very inspiring. Ed Kutu has he's my friend from high school, has a hair salon, Blade's Hair Salon in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Eddie, you want to get your hair did? Go see Eddie Kutu. Kate Greer has joined us. Hector Garcia is out in Miami. Erica Amato. Do you guys know Erica Amato? Amazing actress and singer and triple threat. Erica, when you're back in town, call me. You got to come on the show. Michael Bradley has joined us. Hi, Michael. Kia Nelson, she's in Philly. So many of our friends, and we'll have more friends coming on. So I was telling, this is Mia Gentile, no relation to me, but we never know. You never know. But Mia Gentile, and this is Mark Hartman. And I was telling them, I said, in the very beginning of the show, you'll see our friends will pop on, and they will pop on as we go. So now, if you're listening live on Armed Radio, so you would be listening on armeddigitalmedia.com, Armed Radio Global, we want to welcome you to our show. If you hear me mentioning all these names, it's because we're also Facebook Living, and we like to acknowledge our regulars. They come in every week. Rena Crunelli-Berge, she's my cousin. She's out in Massachusetts. Hi, Rena. Darius Frowner, our mutual friend, is joining. Darius has a birthday coming up this Thursday.
Oh.
We're going to celebrate at Singer
He
Spotlight
just took
night.
a vacation too, right? I
To
saw
Miami,
some
just
lovely
a little,
photos.
yeah, right? Darius is in good shape, so he can take those kind of photos. Me, not so much. But Darius, his birthday, we're going to celebrate this Thursday at Singer Spotlight night. And this is my friend, Leo Rodriguez. He is our
Rodriguez.
Right, very good. Our accidental intern, Leo, it makes all the promos. So I don't know if you guys saw the little promo he made with the two of you. I shared it to your page. It's really cute.
Oh,
yeah, he does
you.
all that stuff. And if we have websites and things to post, Leo, if you say it and spell it, Leo will post it.
Great.
While we're Facebook Living.
Amazing.
So Bill Goffey has joined us. Hi to you two, magnificently talented guests. You're right, Darius. They are magnificently talented. And we have titled this episode, The Magic of Musical Theater. Because Mia is a musical theater young goddess.
Oh,
and
thank
Mark,
you.
your voice is to die. And I've heard a lot of singers in my day, and not everybody sounds like you. And Mark Hartman is a musical director extraordinaire who's done a ton of theater, and I just thought this would be a great match. And another reason I put them together, because I do match people up energetically also, is that you're two people that are, I'm afraid, are going to get, not afraid, I hope, and I'm glad you get shows, but you do get a lot of work, so it's hard to get a Tuesday night where you're not working. So I'm so grateful that you're both free and here. Now,
thanks, Leo.
Maria Gentile joined. Marina Gentile. Oh,
Marie.
also
The
no
whole
relation.
family.
I can't believe this.
Wow.
Also no relation, but she's my friend from Massachusetts who now lives in, I think you live in upstate New York, Marina, but she's great. Josh Cox has joined us. He's out in Colorado, I think, right, Josh? Okay, so look at this. Leo Rodriguez has already posted hartmanmark.com.
My website is under construction, so we'll wait on that.
That's all right. Don't worry about it, because you can always, after we save the show, you can always add to it.
Great.
Okay, so let's not, I wanted to just do the little opening, now that you guys are all here. Oh, delicious. All right, so I want to introduce you to these two wonderful people. Mia actually lives very close to me, so she just walked
5
here.
blocks away.
I can't believe it. I didn't know that. You see the things you learn. And Mark, you didn't come very far, right? So thank you for coming, though.
True.
A few stops away.
A few stops.
Okay, so now the reason I say that you're both people that are hard to pin down, you do quite a bit of traveling and touring. Is that correct?
I do a lot of travel. I haven't had a lease in New York City since 2013.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's really kind of insane. I really want an apartment. I miss my things. I think I could have bought everything in my storage unit about 5 times by now.
I know. I did that.
But I paid for it.
I did that a while back. I had a storage unit for 2 years that I just literally would. Yeah, I was everywhere, and that's a very New York story.
Yeah.
But you have to do what you have to do, and you are now going out on tour again, right?
Yeah, I'm going out to do a little musical you might have heard of called Oklahoma.
Oh, right.
Yes.
And where will that be?
At the North Shore Music Theater. Not the fancy one on Broadway. Not that one.
Now, Massachusetts, listen up.
Yeah, so...
That's your... Go ahead.
Hi, Julie. North Shore Music Theater in Beverly, Massachusetts. So right up the road from Boston.
We love it there.
We love it there.
On the North Shore.
On the North Shore.
Linda Carroll, the North Shore, you know. Linda Carroll is from Massachusetts. She's just joined us. Who else? Let me see. Julie Rayburn. We all know Julie Rayburn.
Yeah.
Very talented. Colin Burns. Hi, guys. How are you? Kenny Holcomb. He's in Nashville. Hi, Kenny. Also a wonderful singer. So the North Shore Music Theater, I grew up going to that theater.
Really?
Oh my God,
Oh.
I saw so many, because the caliber of theater there is Broadway caliber. Don't people audition in New York to get in?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just
Yeah.
auditioned
You did?
for Jersey Boys over there.
You
Oh,
did?
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Have you ever done Jersey Boys?
No,
You'd be
I would
great
like
for it.
to. I'd love to give a little Jersey accent
Yeah.
a try.
Where are you from though, originally?
I'm from Rybrook, New York, and then
Okay.
we moved to Connecticut, Westport, Connecticut, when I was
Okay.
about 9.
But you can pick up that Jersey
Oh,
accent
yeah.
pretty quickly. And where did you grow up, Mark?
I grew up in Arcadia, North Carolina,
Oh, how nice.
which is about 20 miles south of Winston-Salem. It's not nearly so picturesque as it sounds.
Well-
Winston-Salem is lovely. I sang with the Winston-Salem Symphony.
Oh, yeah. No,
You did?
Winston-Salem
Yeah.
is fantastic. North Carolina School of the Arts is there.
Yes.
They were courting me, and I realized I was not going to go to college 10 minutes away from my mother.
Sometimes you need a little space.
Yeah, I thought I'm going away, something's going to happen. So I went to UNC Chapel Hill.
Oh, lovely.
All right. Did you go to college for music?
I started as a piano major. Well, actually, I started as a chemistry major.
Yes, I believe that.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's very smart.
I started as a chem major, and that lasted about half a semester. But I was doing the piano thing anyway. Then I switched to a drama major. Then I switched to an interdisciplinary major. And finally, I said, what am I closest to finishing? And they said speech.
No. And that's it.
So here I am.
I love
Wow.
it. But you've always played the piano, right?
Always been a pianist. My dad's a minister, so I grew up doing the church, and always kind of surrounded myself with music. I didn't have a musical family, which is weird.
Well, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, but like I'm the only one in the family. My grandfather played a little guitar, and his brother played a lot of guitar. But other than that, it wasn't like a bunch of musicians in the family or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was kind of out on my own.
Sometimes that happens. It's like someone just pops up in a family and is that person.
I'm the black sheep too, actually.
Really?
My family, I was also a science nerd.
Is that true?
Yeah, I took AP Physics in high school and like nailed my physics exam. So I had all these science credits going into a conservatory program, which were like totally useless, but I got a little extra, credits that I could fill with other
Yeah.
classes that I wanted. My family's all psychologists. I have just a brother and my parents and I as far as the nuclear family. And my dad has a private practice. He's a PhD clinical behavioral psychologist. And my
Really?
mom's a school psychologist, so she tests like elementary school kids. And my brother just got his PhD in clinical psych as well.
Did you ever think you were going to go into that?
I did. I actually, in high school, was very nerdy, was very serious about my academics.
How
I
wonderful,
loved
though. Isn't that a
AP
wonderful
Spanish, AP English, AP physics, and I still speak Spanish today.
Wow. And that comes in handy everywhere you go.
Oh, especially in this neighborhood.
Oh my
It's
God.
It's more Spanish spoken than English.
38% of New York speak Spanish.
Yeah.
That's
and
like-
I've worked in the restaurant industry, and they always make this joke, because my name's Mia, and Mia means mine in Spanish.
Right. And
so I'd be like,
Italian,
hi,
too.
I'm Mia. And they're like, oh, eres mía? Like, eres mía, solo mía? Which is like, are you mine? And I'm like, no tuya. Like, I'm not yours,
Well,
like, they
but I
don't
bet
really,
they
so
love
like,
you,
who's
though.
this gringa? Like,
Yeah.
how does she learn Spanish?
But that's great.
So in high school, I was very, my dad was very like, you can't pursue this unstable career. And like, he vacillated. Every time he'd see me play the lead in a show, he'd come back crying. He'd be like, you have to do this for a living. But then at the same time, he was like, you got to go to Harvard or Yale or Vassar or whatever. And so I was thinking about applying to these Ivy League schools, and my drama teacher, David Roth, in Westport, Connecticut at Staples High School, sat me down and was like, what are you going to do? Are you going to audition for conservatories? And I was like, I don't think I should do a conservatory. I really want like a full, well-rounded education. He was like, you need to do this. You need to do theater. You need to strike while the iron is hot.
Right.
And
I agree.
you have it, so you should do it.
Well, the thing about psychology, and I hope your parents don't get mad at me, but it's the kind of thing that you can. It could be a lifelong career, and you can start that career much later in life. I mean, if you get your education,
That's what I figure.
Yeah, it's not like one of those age-sensitive careers.
Right. I think that this career is an age-sensitive career.
Absolutely.
And you really want to strike while the iron is hot. And if I want to go to academia or be a therapist or even a life coach, I have like a little bit of a fantasy that my brother, he's spending his postdoctoral studies in Toronto for a couple years, but when he comes back, I'm hoping he'll come back to New York City. And my dad has a practice in the city, and he rents out therapy spaces, like offices for therapists. And I want to get like a life coaching certification, and we'll all have like a little family business
I love
in the same
that.
building.
That sounds good to me.
Share a wall and help people.
And you'll have to let us know when that happens.
I will.
Joe Savino, he's joined us. He's the big cheese at Armed Radio. Hi, Joe. He has a show named Joe Rocks. It's on Thursday nights. So check out Joe Rocks on Armed Radio. So many of our friends have joined us.
Hi, Colin. That's amazing.
This
Colin
is awesome.
Burns. I've not spoken to Colin in years.
Do you,
How are you?
so that's your friend?
Yeah.
How nice. And look who else. Kenny Green. Do you know Kenny Green?
I don't.
Oh, yes.
Amazing
The
musical
delightful Kenny
director.
Green.
Delightful is a perfect word for Kenny
Yes,
Green.
he is.
Kenny Green was on the show. Okay, so James Lazar. Hi, Jim Lazar.
Jimmy.
Jim Lazar owns Brandy's Piano Bar, which is
Oh yeah.
just the greatest place. It's East 84th between 2nd and 3rd. It's my favorite place to work. I love Brandy's Piano Bar. So go and check out Brandy's. I think Michael Isaacs is there tonight.
Awesome.
And LaDonna Burns.
Yeah.
Joe Rocks needs a life coach. Joe, you need a lot of things. Oh my God.
I'll let you know when I'm in business.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. So now, Mark,
Yes.
what does it? You're going to do Oklahoma. When does it start?
Going to do Oklahoma. We start rehearsal in 2 weeks. We open, I think it's either the very end of May or the beginning of June. We run for 2.5 weeks. So we start previews on a Thursday, and I think we close on June 16th. That's right.
So it's just right there that you're doing
Just
it, or
right
do you
there.
start touring with?
No. This is just at North Shore.
Okay.
It's the opening show of their 2019 season.
Yeah, and I love that theater. If you're in Massachusetts, you know where it is, and you've been there a million times. That was really Tufts College. We used to go see a lot of things there. They had an
Sure.
amazing theater program, and I did a lot of theater there as a younger person. And my dad used to take us to North Shore all the time. And
Well,
Wow.
the great thing about North Shore, it's one of the few theaters in the round left.
I love theater in the round.
And it's very different than doing straight ahead proscenium theater.
Yeah.
And it's great watching young actors who have never been in the round before have to suddenly navigate
up
that
and-
360 sort of thing.
It's
oh,
true.
Wait, there's nowhere to hide.
And to be
Yeah,
surrounded
you can't turn
by-
up stage and just.
I
those
love
are-
that. I did a lot of theater in the round when I was a younger person.
Really?
Yeah, at Tufts, it was called Magic Circle Children's Theater. It was an
Oh,
amazing
yeah, I've
program.
heard of that.
Amazing program that I was part of. And I mean, to use the word, because it is very magical. And when you make those entrances, And it's just, and you just appear. It's really something. And when you're,
It's so intimate.
oh, have you ever done theater in the round?
I've not, but I've attended many shows in the round.
It's
I saw
really,
Hadestown when it was
Oh,
here
how was it?
before
Oh, wow.
Broadway.
My niece just
It was
saw it.
incredible. So my mentor and acting teacher is Patrick Page, and he's playing Hadestown, and I just can't say enough good things about his acting studio, about him as a person. He's the most loving, gentle, brilliant teacher.
Wow.
And he's got like a penchant for the classical stuff, so we'll do Shakespeare, we'll do classic plays, we'll do contemporary stuff too, but
So you're still always taking.
that's an ongoing thing.
I love
Sometimes
that.
he was on the West End with Hadestown, and now he's sort of taking a little hiatus to put it up on Broadway. They just opened. It was just his birthday. So I adore him, and Michael Littig is his like right-hand man in the studio, who also I went to CCM, the Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music, and so Michael went there and started the studio, and I was in the very first guinea pig class, so I feel really honored to be part of that. But anyways, so Hadestown was in the round when it was in New York a couple years ago, and it was incredible in the round. It was like a party. It was like a New Orleans
so
party.
was Fun Home. Did you see Fun Home?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Did you see
I
Fun Home?
loved Fun Home.
I loved Fun Home too. That is I still can't stop thinking about it. It's funny. It's one of those shows that you leave and it stays with you. It just stays with you. So that was in the round. I don't know on tour if it's still in the round. I guess it would depend on.
Well, it's not. It toured in a year and a half ago. It was on the road.
Yeah.
But it toured through proscenium spaces.
Okay.
My friend Micah conducted it.
So that would be a different experience, to see it that way.
Well, it was proscenium. It was proscenium at the Public, wasn't it?
I didn't see it
Fun
at the
Home?
pub.
Fun Home.
Oh, Fun Home.
I didn't see it at the Public. I saw it when it was at
I saw it when it was on
Broadway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mark, now
Yes.
as a young guy, did you say to yourself, I want to be a musical director, or did you want to play the piano? Did you want to be in a band? Did you, at your youngest musical self, what did that feel like? Your fantasy, when you were a teenager and you were like, at your piano, what did you imagine being the greatest thing for yourself?
Rhinestones. I wanted to be Liberace because it was really sort of the only reference I had for what pianists who perform do.
Right.
Like it was like that, and like Peter Nero and those guys. So I really I thought, well, this is what that is. And then in high school, when I was 16, we did Hello Dolly, and I was suddenly playing for the musical because I was playing for everything in school.
Sure.
Well,
that's what happens with guys like you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're
I was
they're few and far between.
Super geek, so I was doing the AP courses and all the advanced crap.
See, you guys have a lot in common.
Yeah,
We do.
actually, yeah.
And president of my Fine Arts Society. And
Love that.
National Honor Society.
Exactly, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the chorus and the jazz band and what have you.
Yes.
And also playing for the musical because, when you do everything,
Yeah,
that's everything.
Right.
And suddenly I was looking at the score of Hello Dolly, and on the front page it's like there's this person, music director. Oh, that's a job. That's a job people have in the world.
That's a thing people
That's
do.
a thing people do. And yeah, so sort of once we're getting into how the show was working, I thought, oh, this is, musical theater, what I want to do. I wanted a music director. And from then on, that's kind of what I knew I wanted to do.
Did you?
And I didn't really make any veering from that other than that brief foray into chemistry.
Wow.
Wow.
But it is that moment. Everybody has that moment. Mia, what was it for you when you were like as a young person? What was that moment where you were like, when I grow up, I'm going to, as far as
Theater,
goes,
yeah. Well, I had a couple, and I credit my grandparents. So my Grandpa Ted, on my mom's side, was a genius. And we would go into the basement, sit on the carpet, and play a little keyboard that had all the different sounds. And we would play all these different, make stories out of it, because you can have like applause and voices and like planes and, you know, all these different sounds, and we would create it, and then we'd have these big dramatic finishes, like da 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 da, and we'd both be playing on it, and then we would just like roll on the floor laughing. And he would teach me like "Let Me Call You Sweetheart," that song.
Yeah.
And I would sing it, and he'd be like, "She's got perfect pitch, you know, like you should get her to sing." And I, my grandmother on my dad's side, the Gentile side, Grandma Annie, she sat me down on her lap and was like, "We're gonna watch Singing in the Rain."
Wow.
And I watched it, and I saw Debbie Reynolds, and I was just like, I saw her sing Good Morning, and I started to sing it, and I thought in my little, you know, 5-year-old mind, I was like, I sound exactly like her. I was like, "Mommy, get me voice lessons," you know. And so I started taking voice lessons at 6 years old. I was taking piano 30 minutes and voice lessons for 30 minutes. And when you're that young, you're just singing songs, like Disney songs, and, you know, and for me, like, musical theater was, we had, my town, Westport, Connecticut, was just so ripe with theater. It was incredible.
The Westport Country Playhouse.
Westport Country Playhouse. I don't know if you know Justin Paul of Pasek and Paul.
Yes, of course.
He came through my same, you know, children's theater, music theater of Connecticut. We had the same voice teacher, and he was acting and performing and also MDing and playing. And he went through my high school. He was about 4 years older than me. But the thing that we also have in common is that, so it was like, theater and Broadway was a big thing. Like I remember auditioning for Star Search, like in New York, and getting to like the, like not on the show, but like the final 12, like the regional auditions.
Wow.
And I sang "Don't Rain on My Parade," of course, because I was just this like giant diva, like listening to Celine Dion and Barbra Streisand, and I always had a good
Barbra
ear.
Streisand's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
And I always had a good ear for mimicry and stuff, but it wasn't until I started joining a gospel choir in 8th grade that I really like found my voice and my capacity for like improvisational singing. So I was a worship leader. This man, Chris Coogan, took me under his wing. I was in the Good News Gospel Choir, and he shipped me around the Baptist churches in Connecticut, and I was a worship leader and did that, and then got into jazz a little bit. I played the tenor saxophone, but I also sang with a jazz band, and then sang in jazz clubs in Cincinnati where I went to school. And so it was like the music element has always been just like a really important part of it.
Right. But it sounds like there was a lot of music, even though you talked about being academically focused, but simultaneously you had a lot of music going on.
It was as if I went to like a private school and a performing arts high school at the same time. Like Westport school systems are just not to be beaten. Like the teachers that I had, the quality of learning was so incredible. Like I was like happy as a pig in shit. I was just like front of the classroom, just soaking it all up, like super type A overachiever style.
Yeah, but you know what? Good for you. Good for you. And if you go to a school or you're in a community that caters to that kind of thing, or it has these wonderful programs, how great is that? You know, we Darius and I teach out in Morristown, New Jersey, and it's that kind of community.
So
People
lucky.
really care about what's happening and the arts, and it's amazing, you know. So I just want to say just a few people that have popped on we didn't get a chance to say hi to. Kelvin Moon Lowe is our friend who's also in Beetlejuice right now. They just opened this week, Kelvin.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I can't wait to see it.
Aren't you doing a show right now?
Well, who knows? Maybe, can you believe it? Kelvin, he probably just like popped on and now he's on
when
stage.
I was backstage,
right?
I was constantly texting.
Right.
between
Well, is that
scenes.
true? I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
So David Bishop is joining us.
David.
Maria Filiomeni. Hi, Maria Filiomeni. She is from out in Morristown. She was one of our students in our cabaret class. Amazing person. Scott Fagan. He was our 2018's wedding. He was our stage manager, and he also stage managed Contact the year that it won the Tony.
Wow.
Yeah. Mark Weiser is here. He
Hi,
says,
Mark.
"Hi, Mark Hartman."
How are you, Mark?
Amazing
It's been
piano
forever.
player. Runs dueling piano. No, not dueling piano. What's the name of his company? Is it dueling? I'll think of it in a minute. Oh, Shake, Rattle, and Roll.
Yes.
And he's doing the Piano Summit. That's coming up. Donna Carter. Kim Alvarez. Hi, Kim. She's out in California. Peter Feliciano in Brooklyn. Judy Mesa. That's my girlfriend. Hi, honey. She is on her way, I think. And then Mary Reardon is in Massachusetts. Mary, our friends here, Mark is going to be at the North Shore Music Theater with Oklahoma. So if you guys are out there, you should go check it out and then say hi to Mark afterwards. Leo Rodriguez says allow cell phones, but they do allow cell phones backstage. Oh,
Well, not on the deck. We had, so in Kinky Boots at the Hirschfeld, we were very blessed with lots of space. So we had
So Mia wasn't...
the backstage. I was in Kinky Boots, finished out the run. I was in it for almost 5 years. I was sort of an early replacement, so I was there for a big chunk of its 6-year run. And we had this section underneath the stage with these, we called them gondolas. They were like little rooms separated by flaps of fabric. So the angels and the drag queens were in one, the female ensemble was in one, and the male ensemble was in one, because our actual dressing rooms were like 6 floors up, and there was just no viable way that we could go back and forth in between scenes. So we had these gondolas where we had our phones, we had our costumes, you know, we would do our changes there. And so we just hung there. So you weren't really allowed to bring your phone like backstage, like
Right.
you know, on deck.
Yeah.
But you know, we had little pockets of downtime, and people would play HQ, you know, that like trivia game, like people would play that. We played bananagrams on the floor, which is like Scrabble.
You know, it's amazing. Like if someone hears that, they're like, "Wouldn't you be nervous? You have to go on." When you're used to doing something, whatever it is, you get really good at it, and you can kind of do it.
You can kind of
do it
absolutely.
in your sleep almost, right?
Yeah, we during Avenue Q, we were in the basement,
Right,
at the Golden, and the great thing about the band in the basement is, well, only 2 things. We didn't have to wear black, which is always a plus. And we could do pretty much anything we wanted between tunes.
Tell people why you would have to wear black, because you're in the pit, right?
In an orchestra pit, yeah, and being visible to people. It's generally black. There's still a few tuxedo gigs left, I think. Is My Fair Lady a tuxedo?
I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
Is the pit visible?
The pit's visible, yeah, but I don't know if they're wearing black or they're wearing tuxedo.
Woof, that sounds so hot and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Mark, tell us about some of the shows over the years that you've played at.
Well, on Broadway, I did Avenue Q and Sondheim on Sondheim.
Wow.
Which were
Couldn't be more different.
Could not be more different. Well, no one knows what to do with me.
What do you mean? You're so talented.
Well, it's just like, do you do this funny thing or this very artsy thing? It's very.
But you can do all of it.
I can do enough of it, well enough apparently that.
And you do also play a lot of cabaret shows.
I do a lot of cabaret work too. Off Broadway, I did Silence the Musical.
Oh my gosh, so you know Natalie Joy Johnson?
Of course I know Natalie Joy Johnson.
She's my girl.
She
is hysterical.
We adore her.
Hi, Natalie.
Natalie Joy Johnson. I just
love
saw her
Natalie.
perform last night. Corey Mock is a dear friend who was in
Oh,
Kinky Boots.
yeah.
And he produces
the,
and sings in Broadway
Pink thing.
Sings. So the
Yes.
Pink Unplugged at the Green Room 42 was last night, and I went and saw it.
How is the Green Room 42?
Oh,
I've
it's
never been
lovely.
there.
It's
The
a
sound
great
is
room.
great.
I heard great things
The
about
wonderful
it.
thing is that it's really, they don't have beverage or a food minimum. And the tickets are really reasonably priced. And it's a great space. So I'm working on my solo show. I just got my MD team and my director lined up, and
Yay.
we're mapping it out. And so I'm
do it
shopping
there?
around. I'm still
You still
considering different places.
Okay.
But it's probably going to be in October.
unless
something happens.
You
But-
have to do it.
And I will plug really quickly, not to commandeer this chunk of the
Too late.
conversation. I'm sorry. But I'm doing Forbidden Broadway at the Gateway Playhouse this summer.
Oh, nice.
So it
Wonderful.
opens June 5th as previews, and then we run till the 22nd.
And where is the Gateway if people want to come?
That's in Bellport, Long Island.
Okay. And you've done Forbidden Broadway
I have.
before.
I did it in New York.
Okay, so for someone who has never seen Forbidden Broadway and says, well, what is that? Explain to people what Forbidden Broadway. I love
The
that.
way I explain it to people that like aren't even in theater is that I just say it's like the SNL of Broadway.
That's a good way to
So
put it.
you basically, it's the only thing of its own little niche market. It's brilliant. Gerard Alessandrini has been writing it since the 80s, and basically it's a parody of everything that's currently on Broadway, and some peppered in some sketches from past iconic divas and shows. But basically, you are performing the songs from the shows that you're parodying, but the lyrics are different, the parody lyrics. And so it's a loving roast, it's a loving send-up of all of the actors that we know and love, the composers, the writers, the shows. And I never had more fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just a blast.
I always loved going to I actually used to go to the ones in Boston where it started.
Yeah.
Forbidden Broadway.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
that's where he's from.
Right.
So, and that's where, oh my God, so many of those first, like you said, the SNL is a great reference.
Really
It's
is.
like, right, because those original, if you think about the original SNLers, you never forget them. And I remember those original Forbidden Broadway stars. They were amazing. And it really, the bar is so high.
Yeah.
show. It's not just because it's a comedy doesn't mean that you can kind of be okay. You have to be really good because you have to play a lot of different roles.
You have to do a lot of
Divas.
impressions.
Yep.
So, and a
Do
lot
one
of.
for us.
Okay. So, like.
Darius asked.
Oh, Darius asked?
Yeah.
Well, when I went in for my
It's
audition.
water, Carolyn. It's water.
Oh, so look at Carolyn Montgomery. Hi, sweetheart.
What's that,
She's going to
Mark's
be on the
tipping?
show soon. We got to get her on. So,
So, anyways, when I went in, I had to go in with a bunch of impressions. So I did Patti LuPone singing Meadowlark, and I did the video. She has the actual performance where she's like, "My beautiful young man," and she's like grabbing her crotch, and then she puts these claws up in the air. And so I did that. And like I had to do Bernadette singing the Star Spangled Banner, but that got cut. It was like the beginning of the Rocky sketch, so it was very like, "Hello, George." That's like the first thing off the top of my head I could think of.
That's wonderful.
But it's very lippy, and Patty's very. You got the one little, and you don't like enunciate anything, you know. And Barbara's all about the nails, you know, like, and like that kind of nasality. You know, like I just auditioned for Spamilton, and there's a Barbara sketch in that where she's like, "I just want to tell Lin-Manuel Miranda one thing," you know.
I love it. I love it.
That's
That's
fantastic.
fantastic.
So when are you doing that?
That's going to be June 5th. We previews June 5th, and then we run till the 22nd.
Oh, that's in Long Island.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
At the Gateway.
At the Gateway Playhouse.
Fantastic.
We're gonna
I've
have
never
to-
been out to Gateway Playhouse. We should go, Maria.
You want to do a road trip?
Let's
Oh my
do a road
gosh,
trip.
Let's get a bus.
really?
No, seriously.
Let's get a bus.
I have a
Let's
car.
go.
I have a little car. We have 5 people.
Oh,
in it. Well, I'm
fantastic.
one of the fit 5, but
Well, all right.
we'll have to find 4 other people.
Oh, we'll
that we
hang out.
like.
We'll hang out afterwards. It'll be so
Why not?
great.
Let's do it. All right, that's it. When
Yay.
and Mia, remind us when that happens because I will post it on the What's the Story with Maria page.
Great.
So, by the way, so that you're watching What's the Story with Maria, which is my weekly show. This is episode 94, and you can go back. You can go on my page and scroll back and find all the episodes. Also, this is it will be archived in podcast in about 12 hours, sometimes less. Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker. So you can always go back and listen. But if you have questions about any of our guests, just let me know and I'll be in touch. And if you guys have something that's happening, post it on my page.
For sure.
And I'll post it on What's the Story with Maria. So Mark, of all the shows that you've done, what would you say was probably the most challenging? Because you're pretty smart. So, but what was like a show that you were like, I have to really work at this? Because you make things look so easy, and maybe they're not. But
Generally, the next one.
Okay.
Whatever the next one is the hardest one.
Do you have like a ritual that you prepare for something?
Well, yeah. I mean, my job starts about 6 months before rehearsals start. Usually, if I know that far in advance, I'll start about 6 months before. And there's a lot of things we have to decide, like how many orchestra members I'm getting and what they're going to be. If I'm getting an orchestrator, if I have to script a friend to come to work on some orchestration for me. Just working on the shape of the score itself, really learning the intricacies of it, and sort of deciding if we know how many people we're casting, how we're going to break that all down, because I don't like to do that in rehearsal.
Yeah.
I like to know exactly what I'm doing before I walk in the door.
Well, I would imagine
of
that
course,
it is one of those
directors
type
have
of
opinions,
careers.
too.
Yes. Now, I know a lot of different musical directors, and they all have very different personalities. Of the ones I know, but what they do have in common is that they do have their ducks in a row. It is one of those careers that you can't just kind of sort of like, make it up as you go along.
You can fly by the seat of your pants a bit, but only a bit.
That would be nerve-wracking.
Well, it is. It's not nerve-wracking if you really know, like if you know what the composer sounds like and feels like. You've done a lot of their work.
Okay.
And maybe if it's a new show that's going to undergo a lot of changes in the first place, so you can't really, that the draft you're coming in with is not the draft you're going to finish up with.
Wow.
So there's a fair amount of flying by the seat of the pants that happens like in developmental processes. But if it's something that you know,
I want to talk about this because he's
yeah.
referring. So Darius Frowner, for our radio listeners, is also a wonderful musical director, and he and Mark are friends. And he said, Mark gave me a lot of advice to music direct Oklahoma. Which
That's right. Darius did a great production of Oklahoma out of the Denver Theater Center.
Oh, cool.
Was it
all African American.
Was it? Yeah.
It was amazing. It was groundbreaking.
Beautiful.
At the Colorado. Darius, type in the name of that theater.
Denver Theater Center.
Oh, thank you. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. And
he was nominated actually.
Yeah.
In
Wow.
BroadwayWorld.com.
And we
Oh
were
my
talking.
gosh.
We were talking about a bunch of stuff before you went out to do that, and I didn't know that I was going to be doing Oklahoma at the time. So Darius, thanks for making me like look at Oklahoma a little bit in advance.
So you didn't know when you were helping him with Oklahoma?
that I was going to be doing it a year later? No.
How
I had
crazy
no
is
idea,
that, right?
There are
It's
no
insane.
accidents.
There are
Wow.
no accidents. No, I was getting ready to do West Side Story.
I love, which
At the
is one of my
Guthrie last summer.
favorite. Did you
Wow.
do West Side
I
Story?
did West Side.
Oh, wow, that's
My top three.
so
favorite.
lush.
Well,
Beautiful.
My favorite is Sunday in the Park.
And when I hear that, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna start crying.
It's really wonderful. But
beautiful.
my favorite is Sunday in the Park,
Wow, that's beautiful.
and we
That's
did that at
beautiful.
the Guthrie 2 years before.
Wow.
And where is
what a
the Guthrie
dream.
again?
The Guthrie is in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, how
It's a
nice.
beautiful,
Minnesota.
beautiful theater. And they're actually doing Guys and Dolls right now, which I'm not doing, but I'm going to go back next summer and 20 Cabaret.
Oh,
So I'm.
You
it's like that's my favorite show,
Yeah.
actually.
Cabaret? Really?
I played Sally Bells in
Cabaret.
high school, and it was like the dream of dreams. And we actually
Oh,
won
you
this.
were
There was a
great.
Moss Hart Association
Oh, yeah.
for all of New England. We won the big Moss Hart Award for our production of Cabaret.
Who's your MC?
Brandon Block.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right, there was a
B
while
Block.
ago.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's been like
It's
a
been
long
a while.
time.
So what are some of the other shows that you've done, whether they are professional or not? What were some of the roles that you've played that you love?
Oh man.
Or you know, whatever. Just tell us. as much as you can.
So there's a couple shows that I've done a couple times, and so Thoroughly Modern Millie is one that I've done twice where I played Millie. So and
Love
I
that.
haven't
Love-
dusted off my tap shoes in a while, but I really
So
I've-
you would be a triple threat, would you not?
well
you dance,
I can
act, and
dance,
sing. Okay.
but it's been a minute. I usually get hired to act and sing, you
Okay.
know, but I'm definitely
But
a
you can go to
tapper.
a dance call if they say, "Okay, we love you. Come back now."
Yeah, like I'll do fine in the mover dance calls.
Okay.
But yeah, CCM, that was really helpful about CCM is I went in as a beginner's jazz, like a BJ, and then I went all the way up to advanced jazz by the time I was a senior, and Diane Lala, the head of the sort of dance portion of the musical theater department, was like, this has never happened before. You know, I just took to it. Like,
Right.
I danced in cabaret and in shows in high school and growing up. Like, my first musical ever was 42nd Street.
Oh, I love that
In
show.
fifth grade.
Yeah, well, you are.
So Millie and Thoroughly Modern Millie definitely hit that sweet spot because I relate to you in that like people don't often know where to put me because I really gravitate to the comedy stuff, but I love acting.
But you know what's funny? I didn't know the comedy stuff about you. So I love that you have that side because that to me opens you up completely differently. It adds all these other dimensions. Which
That's where I
love.
feel like I really thrive is in a role or where there's a little wink to it. There's
Yeah.
just a little bit of like I know you're here. There's like a real repartee with the audience, and it's a quirky ingenue, like a real
Right.
funny, wacky offbeat.
But those are the best.
I mean, that was the thing about I understudied Lauren in Kinky Boots, and you could bring your own freaky weirdo to the role because Anna Lee Ashford originated it, and she paved the way to make this role that's like such a great comedy role.
Right.
Like
Well,
that
she's
number.
very daring.
She is.
and-
She can do anything.
But what I really like about her is that she just is who she is, and she's going to take those risks, but they don't look like risks when she's taking
They
them.
look effortless.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that in her preparing for something, she is taking a risk. But she just like literally cast it out there and is like, you either like me or you don't. And I always like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
She's
she's
just a
lovely.
ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
So she really made that role into to what it is, with a collaboration with, Jerry Mitchell and, the air guns, like blowing into the armpits during History of Wrong Guys, and the blowing the hair, and like, all of the working in the factory. Like, it became such a great comedic number that like really lifts the show up,
Right.
and which is already a fun, sparkly. But anyway, so I did Rent twice, and I was lucky enough to, I was very skinny at the time, and I was very tan, and I had long curly hair, and I played Mimi in Summer Stock, and then I played Maureen in college.
Okay. Which one was harder to do on a nightly basis?
Oh, Maureen was like a piece of cake.
Oh, compared to Mimi.
And it also was like a better fit. But Mimi was like the gravity of it.
Yeah.
I was like, my dad is a therapist, and ever since we were kids, he would help me learn my lines, and we would diagnose these characters with different
How cool.
personality disorders. So in Cabaret, when I did Sally Bowles, which was definitely one of my favorite roles
really
of all
fun
time.
now. So what is
So she was a histrionic personality disorder.
histrionic?
Like very like not a narcissist, but very like colorful, like big confidence, and with Mimi, there's a drug addiction component.
Mm-hmm.
She's a stripper. Like, what is it like when your body's coming down from like heroin? What is it like, what is it like when you're physically addicted to a drug?
Amazing.
And she's the whole Light My Candle is a really difficult song to navigate. It seems so simple, like ba-dum, dum, ba-dum, and it's all knocky and cute. But she's looking for her drugs, and she's trying to navigate that. Like, I see this guy, and I'm really drawn to him, but I'm also like, I need a fix, and I've lost my drugs,
really
and
cool.
he's hiding them, So, and I actually was very blessed to sing the music of Rent, La Boheme, and Moulin Rouge with two symphonies. Under the conductor Robert Moody, and so I got to sing "Light My Candle" with Tony Vincent, with a full orchestra, beautiful symphony orchestra.
Wow, that must feel great.
And some La Boheme stuff, because I took with the head of the opera department, voice teacher in college, Mary Stuckey at CCM. They had a really like robust opera department, so I got to sing a little. Like Mimi in yeah, and I got to sing the music of Rent and stuff with the full orchestra. So that those threads, are really.
Oh,
and I've done some.
So you really
premieres.
have a range of stuff that you've done.
Yeah,
And you're at a beautiful age now for those roles. But you know what I know. There's always going to be opportunity for you. It's just going to keep growing. And the fact that you do so much work behind the scenes. You guys are both nerds, and I love that. I can tell, that there's really, that's what it is. If you're a nerd, you just keep adding. You want to learn more. You want to go to the next level.
Keep learning and keep challenging yourself.
But
it's the only way, really.
And I feel that you can never be prepared enough. Like, that's the thing that Patrick Page also says. He talks about, like, frying pan versus crock pot actors, where it's like, I nerd out on, like, the tools of acting, the preparation, the text analysis, and all of that. And, there's some actors where, like, you see them opening night and you see them closing night, and, they fried up what they got, and it's basically the same the whole time. But, like, a crock pot actor, it's like, the more you get to sit in the piece and settle in, there's layers and layers and flavors that are coming in that are just deeper and richer, and it's just expanding and growing. And
that's great.
Sadly, as rehearsal periods get shorter and shorter, it becomes harder to do that. I mean, sure, for Broadway or a tour, you get 4 or 6 weeks or something like that, and then a healthy amount of previews. But when you're putting things up in 10 days,
and then you don't have a long run either.
Exactly. So really, that's when it becomes sort of all about preparation for me. Because if I want the kind of product that I want to have at the end of it, then I can't start the first. I've got to start so much further back.
Yes.
And I hope the actors. I hope my cast, if they're out there, are doing the same thing.
Study!
He's watching you. Darius said that there is a new profession called psychodramaturg. we worked with one at the DTC.
My dad did psychodrama,
Wow.
where you like act out. You cast people in the group therapy to play certain people in your life, and you act out
That's
things
really
that have happened
intense.
to you or things that you'd want to say. And I don't know if psychodramaturg might be different, because a dramaturg is someone
Right,
that
would help you write the
researches the history and the period and the world of the play.
Well,
So
when I was doing Tony and Tina's a million years ago, but we had characters, and I had a role, and I understudied 6 roles. So we had the history. It was really great, though. It was a great way to just always be working on something. And you never knew until you walked in the door and you went to sign in who you were playing. And there would be the board, there would be Maria as blank or whatever.
you have that magical swing brain. That is a
But I
unique
love that. I love
skill.
it. But what they all had was a history. Each character had a history and a timeline according to the music where you had to be when. And you could infuse your own intention, your own thoughts, but keeping with the history of the character. And that's why it was such an amazing experience. And everyone that did those roles was so different. So speaking of which, my friend Lynn Portis, who was the musical director for that show many years ago, who has remained my musical director. Mark, you and Lynn would really
I've
get
never met Lynn, and I've heard your name forever.
Lynn and Mark, you're so intellectually...
Well, I mean, we're both only 25.
Right.
So forever is a very short time.
But she's very, very smart, and you're quiet people in that wonderful way where you're reliable, but you would really be very compatible friends.
Lynn, come out to Gateway with us.
Yay!
No, she lives in Long Island. Oh my God, that's it.
Perfect.
So Lynn, when Mia is doing Forbidden Broadway in Long Island, we will all meet because Lynn lives in Merrick.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, we just
Fantastic.
did the New Leaf a couple of days ago. We played at the New Leaf up in the Cloisters, and we're going to be there again May 26th. It's the last Sunday in May. We play a gig there for 2 hours. We play and it's very different from what you're talking about. We don't plan anything, so we say, okay, let's just see what happens, and let's just with the energy of the room, we go, because we have so much material together. And we've been working together for like 25 years.
Yeah.
So maybe more. It's like you and Natalie,
Yeah, Natalie Douglas. We just did our show at Birdland last night.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much. Natalie has a monthly residency, where she plays once a month. I guess is that a monthly?
That's a dream.
Yeah.
It's really great. We did the...
You always play for her, right?
For 22 years now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When I see Natalie, I automatically think of you, and vice versa.
Yeah. Or Brian Nash.
Brian Nash, right?
Brian
That's true.
Nash.
Brian plays a lot for Nat when I'm gone. And we did the Nat King Cole show last night.
Yeah.
And I think next month she's doing the Elvis show, and Brian's going to play that because I'll be doing Oklahoma.
You're doing Oklahoma.
Then we're doing a Judy Garland show in July. So we got
Wow.
You,
I gotta come.
You have to do a segment, don't you?
Yes.
You
How
gotta
did
do a
you know?
segment.
You're the smart guy. Okay, so let me just take a moment. Liz Nagan-Guest has joined us, amazing actress, singer, dancer. Isabella Raskowski, that's really my cousin Marisa in Massachusetts. Marisa, you have to go. I know that you missed a little at the beginning. You have to go back. This is amazing. Mark is going to be at the North Shore Music Theater. She lives in Massachusetts. And Mia and I have the same last name, and Mia is going to be all over the place, so she comes to visit me too, so maybe she'll come out and we'll go see you in Forbidden Broadway.
Fantastic.
Okay, so now we have to take a moment to hit the segment of our show called Go Ahead, Keep Eating. So do it with me, ready?
Go ahead, keep eating.
Okay, so what I do is I invite creative people to be on my show, and I shan't rest on my laurels, so I have to fire up my creative side. And I love to cook. That's one of the things that I do that's creative. So I ask my guests, do they have any allergies, restrictions, preferences? And both of them were like, go for it, whatever you want. So what did I want? I really wanted chicken francese tonight. And I haven't made it in a long time. So I made, yes. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. And there's a ton in the kitchen. This is just her display plate. So this, I made a chicken francese, which is over linguine. Chicken francese is a classic Italian dish, even though it's called francese, which means French in Italian. But it's the base is it's chicken stock, lemon, white wine, butter, olive oil, and garlic. It's simple. It's a peasant dish, but it's one of my favorites.
Very nice presentation.
Thank you
by the
so
way.
much. Thank you. If the smart kids think it's good, it's good. Okay, so
Looks great.
that's my and that's real food. One time, one of my guests thought it was some fake food. I was like, they were like, it looks really good. Now this is our salad. I love salad. I'm a huge fan of salads, and so I made tonight. I made it's spinach with a little bit of iceberg in there to break up the spinach, because otherwise, too much spinach, it's a little overload for me. But broke that up, and then these are baby cucumbers, which I love, really super crispy baby cucumbers. Apples, red apples. Now I know that's more of a fall thing, but it's kind of been cold this week.
Yeah,
It just felt like fall, even though it's
been
spring.
brisk.
So I cut up some beautiful red delicious apples, and I put blue cheese crumble in there, and I fried up some bacon. And bacon crumble. So the
Everything
bacon,
is better with bacon.
Everything.
Absolutely.
And if your guests have no restrictions, I always go for the bacon. I'm gonna put some. I'm just gonna squeeze an orange on here.
Ooh.
A little extra virgin olive oil, and maybe put a little bit of fig glaze, fig infused as well. I'm going for that tonight.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yes, I love
This
creating.
is decadent.
I love creating menus. And this is our chocolate covered pecans.
You make them?
No,
Oh.
I'm not a dessert maker. That's one thing I don't do. I just never,
But again,
because
the
that's science.
presentation is so good.
Well, thank you so much. These are my mother's plates that, my mother was one of those, she's in heaven now, but she was one of those people that always had beautiful things, and she bought me a little plate set many, many years ago, and I use it for when the, company comes. You guys are company. So, anyway, and I know we run out of time so quickly on this show, so we have about 6 minutes left. Believe it or not, this night has flown by. Let me see if anybody has any questions that we missed. Paul Donnellan has joined us. Chocolatina Q Dessert is out in Colorado. Lynn, love you guys. Yeah, Lynn, I'm telling you, you would love both of these people, and you would love Lynn and appreciate her. Roberta MacGyver. Roberta is from Massachusetts, although she lives here. She's a teacher and an actress. Roberta, Mark is going to be at the North Shore. Maybe you grab your parents. Her parents live in Framingham. Oh, no. Somewhere near there. Gardner or near Framingham.
Yeah.
So it's close enough. Maybe Mark's going to be at the
Come out
North
to
Shore.
Beverly.
Beverly, I love Beverly. I used to work at a place, and the younger people won't know, but the older people will know it. In Massachusetts, when in the 80s, I worked at a place called Romy's Quarter Deck.
I've heard about this place.
Jonathan Tomaselli, who was a mutual friend of ours, also a theater guy, used to come out there. He lived out there, but it was such a talk about great experiences. Where, I'm one of these people that loves to get thrown into situations and then have to figure it out. I like that. I'm like, okay, this is a whole new. So it was like a dinner theater, but also big dinner theaters, and we would do 3 shows a night. So 2 review shows, and then the last one would be like a review, but we would pick a show. So it could be like West Side Story. It could be Crazy for You. It could be whatever, and they would take selections from. So you had to have your songs that you could plug in and out of shows, but then you had to learn and do group numbers, and I loved it. And I did that for 6 years. I worked there, and it was such an amazing experience. And it was really famous out there in Massachusetts, very close to Beverly.
Yeah.
And we used to get all the Beverly shows. After their show, they would come to our show.
Oh, wow.
Because our shows were late. We'd have maybe a 9 o'clock and then a midnight show.
Wow.
So they would.
I worked at a place like that no longer exists.
I
There's
know,
none of
it's
them
so sad.
Called the Farmhouse Inn, Going Rock, North Carolina.
Wow.
And Mary Mitchell Campbell and I were the 2 music directors there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
She was at School of the Arts at the time. She was still before she went to and we were 2, and it was very similar sort of circumstance, except everybody was a singing waiter.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had to do that too.
And
You had to.
and doing group numbers out in the restaurant, and move into the music parlor, and do this sort of rolling review until all the tables had finished up,
Right.
and then we do the 45-minute cut of a musical.
It's amazing.
I did something similar to that as well. When I did 2 summers of summer stock. The first was at the New London Barn Playhouse in New London, New Hampshire, and then Forestburg Playhouse, which is upstate New York.
Oh, I love Forestburg.
Forestburg was a blast. Norman Duttweiler, he's just had a birthday.
Happy
Shout
birthday,
out to
Norman.
Anyway, so we basically, you do a kids show some mornings, twice a week, like at 11 a.m. You rehearse all day for the next show, the next big main stage production.
I
You
love stuff
perform
like
the other main stage at night, and then you do a cabaret even after the
Oh,
main
I
stage
love
show.
that kind of
So
stuff.
you've gone all day, and so I did a Motown review, and you sing your number, and then you go backstage and you total your checks. You write them all out, and you go back out and you do a
Yeah.
group number, and then you go and you
Yeah,
serve people.
absolutely.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, training like that, for me, I don't know about anybody else, but it teaches you two things. To be present. Even though there's a lot going on, you have to be in the moment.
Yes.
And you have to focus, do the task at hand. And while you are in the moment, you have to be prepared for the next moment.
Yes.
So it really gets you to be on your toes at all times in so many ways, mathematically, socially, talk about lyrics, knowing where you are.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of thrilling.
it's so thrilling. I love that kind of work.
And you don't get to like sit in your head and be, I'm an artist.
Right.
It's like, no,
There's
I
no
gotta
time.
get the chicken out.
You're like, I'm a worker among workers.
Exactly.
It's like, it's humbling, at New London Bar,
It
and
is
you're like,
humbling.
I could play Millie that night, but I'd be like cleaning up cigarette butts in the parking lot
Right.
that afternoon. It's like
But you
you're
know
part
what?
of the whole
I love
thing.
that.
You're like, everybody like works on the sets and the costumes, and
That's what I love. That's why I loved Summer
summer
Theater.
stock is just the best.
Which I love because you are part of everything. And so it's the best training for if you're going to be in the theater or not be in it, but just for life. It's not just about showing up and doing your number, showing up and being the star. It's about learning what the stage manager does, what the lighting person does, what the set designers do, what the people that construct the set do, what the acting coach does, all of it.
And
Yeah.
depending on what theater it is, you could be doing all of those things.
Yeah, it's true, and loving it. Now,
I had a brief stint of stage being an assistant, an ASM. during
Everybody,
Forbidden Broadway.
really
every
hard.
actor should have to stage manager.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, I
At
did
least
it
once.
only once,
Every
and it
actor
was
should have to do it.
that was the most frightening thing.
I mean,
could
you
do.
have to have a number of very different skill sets. You have to really be able to work with people, and you have to be ridiculously organized.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
We got.
Hey Jimmy, how much time do we have?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay. Thank you, Jim Bell, our producer and engineer. He is amazing. Armed Radio. I would be lost without Jim Bell. So I always thank him very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes, thank you, Jim. And thank you to Armed Radio, who houses our show and launched our show and keeps it running. Go check us out on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. What's the Story with Maria? There we are. I want to thank my guest, Mia Gentili, no relation. We don't know yet. You never know.
It could be.
And Mark Hartman, just delightful human beings, very talented. Check out their pages and come back every week, Tuesday night at 9. We love and appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Woo! Time to manja.
To I am,